Hello and welcome to this edition of A Conversation With. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network, and in the studio today joining us, Rosemary Gill, our friend, the CEO and Executive Director of the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, I'm very pleased to be here.
You've had some fantastic news, big news. I mean, we got the booklet at home, which I'm sure a lot of people did.
Good.
And then you've got renovation plans coming in. It is a busy time for you, but an exciting time for you. First, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, it couldn't be more momentous of a year. This is our 40th year of presenting live performing arts, 40th consecutive year. Mm-hmm. It is we're about to celebrate the centennial. Excuse me, the centennial of the building. It was built in 1923. And we are embarking on a really transformative renovation and restoration plan for the building.
So I want to get into both of those with the year and stuff. First of all, how long has the renovation plans or the project been in the works per se?
It feels like forever.
Does it? Yeah.
But it's been in the works for 4 years,
really?
5 years
Okay.
at least, in various, in various ways. We have not, we are currently in the leadership phase, what is known in the fundraising world as the leadership phase of the campaign. And we'll begin probably the public campaign sometime in the spring.
It's a $24 million project.
At least $24 million.
According to the press, when we were at the press conference there, and I know our videographer Gus was there and took the tour and whatever. There's a lot of things you guys are going to be doing with the building itself.
It is a tight project as far as the bang for the buck of what we're getting. Yeah, we're touching every single floor, what is known as front of house, which is the lobby, underneath the lobby, and the second and third floor. Many people don't know that there's a second and third floor.
I was going to say
lobby.
that. And it's funny, I sat there and said, well, I've been in the basement, and I've been on the second floor, but I don't think I've ever even been on the third or the fourth floor.
Yeah, so the third floor is the top floor. That's where our administrative offices are. And so we'll do all 4 levels, basement to third floor, total renovation there. And then the theater itself is a historic theater, 100 years old, and that'll get completely restored. And new seats, new bathrooms, state-of-the-art lighting and sound, bringing the men's room, for those of you who have to trek down those stairs to the men's room, bringing that up to the main floor, expanding the lobby. Right now, there's less than 1 square foot in our lobby per person.
Wow. On a busy night, yeah.
On a busy night. And if you've been in the lobby on a busy
night,
exactly.
Yep.
Most people are actually standing out on the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
So we're expanding it all the way to Spring Street, and we're opening up the lobby to incorporate the concession area, the bar, and then that corner space, which we sometimes refer to as the Pendler space.
Correct, yep.
And opening all of that up to all become part of the lobby. It'll be a beautiful main lobby, and then there'll be a grand stairway that'll go up to the second floor, where there'll be another lounge or multi-use space that can be used pre-show, during intermission, or completely independent of what's happening in the theater. And then if you go down these grand the stairway, that'll take you to the speakeasy.
Right, and that's something that's new.
Brand new.
Yep.
All of this will be brand new. The speakeasy will be a brand new space with a nod, of course, to 1923. And that can be used during one of the main stage performances, or that can be autonomous from that. And that can be, a jazz club, a fado club. People can rent it out. We're just envisioning all that these new spaces can be, and we want to hear from the public what they imagine. The types of programs that they imagine in these new spaces.
I was going to say, you're a community building in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Exactly. does the new design provide opportunities for guests or performances that you haven't had before?
We sure hope so.
I mean,
yes, yeah. I mean, what we're designing this whole project, this campaign, with the community at heart. We very much want to be the community's living room. So, other than bringing in incredibly world-class performing artists, we also want to be a resource to local artists, a resource to local organizations who might need space. They might need, meeting space. On the third floor, we're going to create brand new and dedicated education space. We'll have a movement studio and classrooms, which we are hearing from the community will be a tremendous resource for them.
In the theater right now is open, or has dates scheduled with performances a lot of the days.
Yes, it's a busy building. People don't realize.
Right, and I'm just wondering, can you do more dates? Even when you have this new Zeiterion?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're currently ramping up our staff in order to be in a good position to support those new dates, because obviously, more days means more hours in the day,
exactly.
and
and then you
more
have
staffing.
There's shows. There's a lot of things happening at the Z right now.
There are. And what people don't realize, even if a show is on, let's say a Friday night, they might load in. That show that's on tour might arrive the day before, load in. They might have to focus lights and, do sound checks and rehearsals. So, we can't schedule anything that day, but it's so it's still busy and active on, where most people might see it as a dark day because it's not showing on our calendar. But it's a busy place. We currently are teaching classes in the performing arts, a series that we call Creative Classroom. And that takes place now in the Pendler space, but with our dedicated education space on the third floor, that'll get even more active. And that happens several times a week. And people, most people don't know unless they're participating in that the building is as busy. Meetings during the day, organizations use it, we use it. The building is not just home to the Z, we're also home to the two resident companies, New Bedford Festival Theater and New Bedford Symphony Orchestra, who are also in the building several days a year. New Bedford Ballet, we host dance studios, the inauguration.
Well, even something as simple
events.
as your movies, when you're showcasing classic movies, really. And as you said, it depending on what movie at what time.
Yes.
I mean, people get a thrill out of that. Because way back when, it was a movie theater too.
It was a movie theater for a long time, and people know it. A lot of people my age and your age know it. More for the movies that they saw there when it was the state, and so, we're very proud of all of that work that we do, all of the opportunities that we serve so many tastes and disciplines and people's interests, and it's a busy building, and it's going to get busier.
Right. I was asking you off camera, which I thought was, and I hadn't really thought about it, but there really isn't anything like the Z around, unless you go to Providence or perhaps Boston. I mean, a venue that size that can accommodate a performance of magnitude that big. Right. There's nothing else around.
There isn't. We are the sole year-round nonprofit performing arts center on the South Coast. 1,200 seats, and there are many nights that those seats are filled, and then a lot of what people don't realize is we present shows during the day for schools. Right. And there are days where we'll have 2 showings of a particular performance, and again, it's a national tour that's coming through. So we'll have 2,400 local kids in that space, there really isn't anything to compare.
Right. We're talking with Rosemary Gill, the executive director and CEO of the Zeiterion Performing Arts Center, and I want to talk about, because we keep talking about acts, you've got a great lineup right now for 22, 23. 23, it's hard to, 23, okay.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And it's funny because you're doing all this, you've got a new year coming while you're planning your renovations, and, first before we do that, renovations, just to wrap that up, what is the schedule, if you will, for the renovations?
Sure. In the best case scenario, the earliest we'll begin construction is August of 2023, which isn't that far off.
No.
9-10 months away. And will be closed, or the building will be closed for at least 12 months, maybe 14, during which time the Symphony and the Festival Theater will continue to present performances in other various, venues throughout the South Coast. So although the building will be dark, the organizations will continue to offer performances throughout the community.
So we get to this year, before you even get to that, you've got a great lineup. We were talking about Tony Danza's coming.
Yes.
Mandy Patinkin is coming.
Yes.
Just some outstanding acts.
Yes, I'm very proud of this season.
You got a certain White House photographer coming too.
We have Pete Souza, yes. So yeah, this was a tough season. I do the programming for the most part, along with like 3 or 4 other folks that help me on staff. But this was a tough season. This is the first season that we have lifted all restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first season many artists are going back out on tour.
I was going to say, is it tough to get, was it tough to get artists?
It was tough, and that was because a lot of artists are doing makeup dates.
Oh, really?
So, shows that were canceled in previous years,
really?
they're making up. So even though they're going out on tour, they're not available if, if we didn't have them. And we're still doing a few makeup dates this season. Hard to believe, but we are. And thank you to everyone who held onto their tickets for those shows or donated the cost of those tickets back to us. It was just incredible. It's been a tough time for our organization, as well as,
Well, the arts in general. I mean, the mayor, when the mayor was talking about ARPA, a big push was for the arts. And the one thing on the aside, too, I don't think people understand the economic impact that the Zeiterion has on the city.
Right. Right. We have now an $8 million economic impact, an annual economic impact. When we do the renovation, that, you can only imagine how much.
And you're talking people going to dinner, people maybe staying over in the hotel, people going
to dinner, police officers, firemen, EMTs, printers, printing companies, marketing, all of those areas in which people don't think about that we support.
Yeah, and it's like the fishing industry. When
Hairdressers.
You look at that, right? When you look at the fishing industry, the benefit that has on the other businesses in the city, it adds to it.
Sure.
And when you're the only game in town, that's a source of pride, really, for the city when you think about it.
Yeah, there's a reason we're now, when we have a show, it's called a Z Night downtown. Everyone knows, it's a Z Night, which is why downtown is super vibrant. There are people walking, the streets and the sidewalks, and you can't get a seat at a restaurant if you haven't made a reservation. We definitely have an impact.
Yeah, absolutely. So getting back to our acts, I think Tony Danza's coming up in November.
Tony Danza's coming up. Tony Danza is coming to New Bedford. He, of course, he's beloved for Who's the Boss and Taxi. He's a great comedian, but he's been on lots of TV shows and movies. And what people don't know about Tony Danza is he's a song and dance guy. And he's, soft shoe performer, and he's fantastic. He's a great storyteller. He can sing. He's put together a great band that comes, with him, where he'll sing the standards, and it's fantastic. And when a star like Tony Danza is in New Bedford, should show up.
People seem to like him too. He
Yes.
just has a
He's so
likability
likable.
factor.
It's true. It's true.
You see his colleagues in other shows praise him.
Right.
But I remember, and I was telling you off camera when I was working at Channel 6 years ago, when he had his own morning show.
Mm-hmm.
He did a couple of satellite interviews with us. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Just couldn't be more down to earth. And then you watched his show, and he did everything. I remember he did go-kart races and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's you really, I have not met him yet, obviously, but you can sense a lot about these artists with who they choose to represent them, their agents and their management companies, and they're a delight as well. And so we're really looking forward to it. I hope people come out. There are still tickets available, and it'll be a great night. Friday night in November.
Right. Mandy Patinkin coming in.
Mandy
Is that
Patinkin.
February?
I think so. Yeah, like early February.
And the funny thing is, I didn't even realize. I mean, I think of him, and you said it, which I laughed at. I mean, all I think of is Princess Bride with him. But I also think of, I think it's CSI or one of the cop shows that he did for you. So a very good show.
He is the triple threat, right? He's known for television, for movies, and for Broadway. He's an incredible Broadway star. And that's where he shines, and that's what he's going to do at the Z. He's going to sing, and all of the Broadway songs that we know and love, and it's a big deal. He's coming, and he's going to be here. Also a lovely person with lovely representation, and I've even, he's even emailed me personally, so I'm looking forward to that too.
How do you get the people? What is your approach to get a certain act? I would assume that you have to look and see if they're in the area around that time too.
Yeah, there's multiple ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, the traditional way is we develop relationships with the big agencies like William Morris and CAA, and they have a roster of artists, and we meet with them a few times a year in person. I actually travel to New York and other cities throughout the country to meet with these agents ahead of time, usually 18 months ahead of our season. And they pitch their artists, and they'll say, this artist is going on tour and she'll be in your area at this particular time. Do you have those dates open? This is what it looks like. And
do you have to sell New Bedford to them or sell the Z?
Occasionally, but not most of the time. Because we've been around a long time, the agents are familiar with. And
that's good. That's great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Occasionally there'll be someone, particularly, there might be an international artist that might not be familiar with our venue, and I'll have to talk about the proximity, the geography, the population, the type of people that are in the area. But no, I think most of the time they know the size of the venue that they're looking for. They know what we call routing that works. If they go on tour, they might have 15 dates. And 6 of them might be, on the East Coast, and so they're just trying to plug in. A lot of it is opportunity. Is that date do you happen to have that date available? And I might not, but another venue might have that available, and it's sometimes it's just luck.
And with the Z too, it's a more, I think, intimate atmosphere too, and it is old school, so that you probably have acts that. I remember when Jay Leno came, and we talked to him before, and he loved the venue.
Yes.
He just liked the old theater, and the crowd is right there with him. And that was an attraction to him.
It was an attraction to him, and I think, for artists who have been around for quite a while, that, those are the kind of places, the Z is the type of place that they want to play. It's traditional, it's... they know the audience is going to be fantastic and appreciative. They know it's going to be intimate. We have no sightline issues, so, we don't have any lally columns or columns.
Right.
And everyone feels like they're up close and personal, and an artist senses that and feels that it and loves it. They very much feed off of the energy of the audience. So why wouldn't they love it?
Right. And it's funny because so you have those two big acts, and then, for example, like Pete Souza, it just shows the variety of programming that you're bringing in. I mean, his is not a show and dance. No. And it's but it's.
Now that one was not. I was not approached by an agent. I follow him on Instagram. And I happened to notice that he was doing he was supporting a book, and so he was doing a book tour, but in a couple of cities. He lives out in Wisconsin, but he grew up in Dartmouth and New Bedford. And he happened to be going to a performing arts center out there. So I emailed him and said, will you come here? And, are you planning on being here, and will you come? And we just got lucky. And
his exhibit at the at the art museum was so well received.
Oh, and just amazing. And he's a lovely person. He was here recently, so he stopped into the theater after we had confirmed his date, just to kind of look around again. And what a great person, and what an amazing story, between his time with Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama. He really has, such a unique perspective on the American presidency.
Absolutely, yeah. You've got so many other, we just touched on those, but what's an act that you're excited about that you haven't seen, or that's new to the area?
So sometimes the smaller ones, we have a series called the Stage Door series, where both the artist and the audience sit on stage, and we set it up. We set it up, as kind of like a coffee house or a cabaret style. And obviously very up close and personal. We only sell about 130 tickets. People sit, at round tables. We've got a bar. And it really feels very, New York-like and special. You come through the stage door. And a lot of those performances I'm looking forward to. Alyssa Amador, who is a New England artist who recently won the NPR Tiny Desk concert. She'll be here in just a few weeks. I'm looking forward to her. She's just a fantastic songstress, and so a lot of times things like that turn me on. But
you've got a lot of different cultures being represented too.
We do. We try to bring a wide range and represent a wide range of cultures and people's interests. We really work hard to listen to the community and find out what they want. We want everyone to feel welcome at the Z and feel like this is their place, this is their theater, they belong there. And you can't, that doesn't happen accidentally. We have to work very hard. And they want to see someone who looks like them there. And so we work hard at that too.
I was thinking, and I asked you before we started, I said, you and I've met you a long time ago, and you've been there a long time now. How has the Z changed? Do you think has what you've done changed over the years? I would assume adaptation is really the biggest thing.
Yeah, if you had asked me this prior to the pandemic, I would have had a kind of different answer. The pandemic has certainly required that we, adapt and pivot and all of those things, as well as, kind of the social awakening that, this country has experienced in the last few years. I do like to think that we've evolved and grown and are listening more to our community and being more of a resource. We've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes over the years, and we want to get it right, and we try to improve every day, and actively work on being a better partner, a better listener, to be an anti-racist organization. All of these things, we work on identifying the types of behaviors that represent the values that we want to uphold. And
we've got a lot of partners and stuff too. I mean, when you look at it, just a lot of different organizations that work really with you. It's not.
We do, and we want to be at the table. We want them to be at our table, and that takes a lot of work and energy and getting outside of our four walls. And it's so easy because we're so busy and we have so many deadlines to just kind of work head down. But picking your head up and looking around and listening is really the good work, and how we will uphold our values and the expectations of the community.
Got about a minute left, and I just want to give you an opportunity for people who are interested in tickets, interested about the renovation. I assume the website is the best place to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, tickets are, the website is always the best place to go. All of our events are listed, and, anywhere from the Cinnamon New Bedford series to Broadway to, music and comedy and stage door and our creative classroom, and then, our entire series for teachers and schools, our school time performance series. That's all available at the website, and I hope people will take a look, and if you haven't looked at it in a while, please visit it. Please sign up to be on our email list. We send out emails a couple of times a week. We try not to be too invasive about that. And follow us on Facebook, and they'll learn everything that's happening at the Z that way.
That's a lot.
There's a lot going on, and it's hard to miss. I'm always surprised when someone says, "Oh, I didn't know about that," but there's a lot going on.
It's great seeing you again.
Thanks
for having.
Yeah,
thanks
it's
for coming
great to be here. I love this, and I just love the opportunity to talk about the Z. So
that's going to do it for this edition of A Conversation With. I'm Jim Marshall of the New Bedford Cable Network. Thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.